Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, are Americans falling out of love with French fries? Also, how Little Debbie may be lying to us. All that and more on the way next. It is the Hudson Show from RadioU. Thanks for joining us. Walgreens, CVS, and so many other retailers have a big, expensive problem on their hands. That problem is Redbox machines. If you didn't know, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Redbox's parent company, recently filed for bankruptcy. I can't imagine why. And what is left is now all of these Redbox machines taking up a lot of space and power at the locations, these stores that used to house them. The problem is, one, they cost a lot of money to power. According to Walgreens, they claim that it costs about $184,000 a month to power all of the Redbox kiosks that they're still in charge of. Granted, that's 5,400 kiosks. I did the math on that. It looks like that's about $34 a month. So for each machine. So you could take that on, right? They kind of might like you to, because it sounds like they're kind of letting people, if you want one, they'll just let you have it. Now, it does, of course, it's because it's so big and bulky, it's actually going to cost you some money to be able to remove it. Many of them are actually like bolted down or, attached in a way that you can't just walk up with a pallet jack and just walk away with a Redbox machine, as much as Walgreens and CVS would probably like you to at this point. Now, and $34 a month, you can handle that, right? To power your Redbox machine and own a piece of movie history. I mean, why do you even need to power it anyways? Turn it off. What are you going to rent DVDs from yourself? Just keep it unplugged and boom. It can hold up to 500 DVDs. So you could fit almost all of the Fast and Furious sequels in there. I think it'd actually be kind of cool to have, if you've got the space, a Redbox machine. So maybe hit up your local Walgreens, CVS, or wherever else there's an old Redbox machine lying around. Who knows? You might be able to have that as your own personal treasure, piece of history. Now, I did want to let you know that if you missed it earlier this week, Nene joined me for an after show where we tried the Krabby Patty meal from Wendy's in real life on release day. And you can only watch that on the Hudson Show YouTube channel or Facebook page. So go do that if you haven't yet. On with the show. Some big news out of the NFL. The New York Jets decided to fire Robert Saleh, their head coach. Their head coach no longer. Woody Johnson, the owner, made the call, said it was his decision. Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, of course, not involved whatsoever. And they decided to go ahead and name their defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, the head coach for the rest of the season. I think that's a mistake. Not because I have anything against Jeff Ulbrich. I'm sure he's fine. He's a great guy. The defense has been playing great. But come on. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's name Aaron Rodgers the head coach. Why? One, he's the GOAT. He can handle it. He's more than qualified. Two, he's going to get blamed as if he was the coach anyways. Blamed or praised, hopefully, once the Jets complete an amazing season. Aaron Rodgers, he's definitely going to get blamed if things go wrong, even if it may or may not be his fault. So why don't we just put all our cards on the table here, make Aaron Rodgers the head coach and quarterback of the New York Jets? I really think that would be for the best. As an Aaron Rodgers fan, I'm optimistic. They got a big game to bounce back this week against the Bills. They get that new coach bounce that teams usually seem to get, and they're good. They had one game where they really were out of it, the 49ers, and they weren't even that far out of it. A couple things go different. A couple field goal kicks, pass interference calls goes a little different way, and the Jets could be 4-1 right now. What are we panicking about? Now, I was so hyped when I saw this. CiCi's Pizza has a new breakfast pizza, and it's probably not the kind of breakfast pizza you have in mind. No eggs, no crispy potatoes, no sausage, even though all that stuff is great. Instead, CiCi's now has their very own chicken and Eggo waffles pizza. So obviously it's crispy fried chicken, and then you've got the Eggo waffles on there. They say it's a garlic butter brush traditional crust and a warm drizzle of maple syrup. They also say you can kick it up a notch if you add some hot sauce, if that's your type of thing, which all of that sounds great. I was all excited to hear all of that. But then I thought, where's there a CC's Pizza that's open for breakfast? And then I thought, where's there a CC's Pizza that's open at all? So there goes my excitement. I heard about this on Weekdays with Nene yesterday. You ready for Christmas? Because Spirit Halloween they just announced that for the first time ever, after Halloween comes and goes on October 31st, those Spirit Halloweens won't go back to being empty circuit cities. Instead, they will be full of Christmas magic because Spirit Halloween will turn into Spirit Christmas at several locations. In fact, they're even going to have one location that becomes Spirit Christmas on October 18th, which honestly, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But nevertheless, that is what they were doing. That is what they are doing. For me, I know it makes a lot of sense for them. They make a ton of money every Halloween, only being open for like 2 months. And I'm sure they can make a ton of money at Christmas time as well. But I've always been, for the longest time, too scared to go inside Spirit Halloweens. Because have you seen the decorations in there? They are frightening. I do all my Halloween shopping online. And sure, that may mean my Popeye outfit doesn't fit exactly right, but that's better than being scared at Spirit Halloween. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go in Spirit Christmas. I think that might be too scary for me too. But I think it's very smart for them. In fact, I hope they also open up Spirit Valentine's Day, and maybe even, if they're really cool, Spirit St. Patrick's Day. I might overcome my fears to go shop there for that. We are doing Would You Rather Wednesday. You can get in on this question at 8772 RadioU. It comes from Duncan, who says, would you rather live in Tokyo in Godzilla's universe or live in Gotham in the Batman universe? 8772 RadioU. And this has been a bit divisive. Jeff says Godzilla, at least you'd get a warning. There's too many crazies in Gotham. How much warning is there in the Godzilla universe? I don't know. I guess it depends on which one you watch. Regina says, I've never seen Godzilla, so I'll go Gotham because at least you've got deep voice Batman. Good point, Regina. Consuelo says, easy, Gotham. At the end of the day, you still get the Caped Crusader to save you, okay? And Shrew says, Tokyo. Villains in Gotham have actual malicious intent. I don't know, doesn't Mechagodzilla? At least Tokyo would have a higher likelihood of shelters and other defensive measures. That's, yeah, if you're living in the Godzilla universe where Godzilla routinely just shows up, I guess there would be preparations made. And like Jeff said, possibly a warning system involved. Also in Tokyo, like you could go for long stretches of time, right? Where there would be actually no issues whatsoever, where Gotham is basically constantly crime ridden. And depending on which Batman you watch, like drug ridden, like it's just pretty actually dark. I know it's like a first world country, but it's almost not. Susanna says, honestly, don't know much about either. Oh, good. You're the perfect person to answer this question. But Godzilla seems easier to avoid and less creepy. Now, I think we also have to take into account Tokyo, never been to Japan, don't speak Japanese, don't know anything about it. There's a time difference. Gotham, I don't know where it's supposedly located within the United States, but I mean, everybody there seems to speak English, so there wouldn't be a language barrier. And like as bad as it's portrayed in some versions of Batman, like, is it just like a real life big city in the United States where like, yeah, some parts are like horrible, but also some parts, right? I mean, I guess I wouldn't be rich enough to live in the some parts that don't even know the bad stuff is going on. So this is so tough. I just, you know what? I just think Godzilla is cooler. And so I think it's the wrong answer, but it's what I'm going to answer. Godzilla's my choice. Godzilla Tokyo. I'll take my chances, even though I think the true right choice for safety and well-being probably actually is Gotham. We got a massive announcement from Nintendo yesterday, but no, it's not a new successor to the Nintendo Switch. Instead, it is what they call Alarmo, which would be a great word to say if you're from Baltimore. Alarmo. The Alarmo is a Nintendo alarm clock. Costs $99.99. It releases in early 2025, but if you're a Switch Online subscriber, you can already purchase it early. What makes this alarm clock so special? What makes it worth basically $100? Well, first of all, it includes a Wi-Fi radio. It also has a wave sensor that detects movement so you can check your sleep records to see how much you move around in your sleep. I really don't need to know that. I don't need Nintendo to tell me that I'm not sleeping well. You can also set an hourly chime themed to your chosen title, an alarm clock that makes a noise every hour. What is this, my grandparents' house? But this is not your grandparents' alarm clock because, of course, because it's Nintendo, it includes 5 different Switch games that has the sounds that you could use as your alarm or as that hourly chime, including Breath of the Wild, Pikmin 4, Super Mario Odyssey, and more. There's also 35 audio scenes in total that you can use, and you can actually connect even more sounds through free updates that will be coming along later. It has a few other items, but I mean, really, it's just a Nintendo-themed alarm clock. Is that worth $100 to you? I'm sure a lot of people are going to be putting that on their Christmas lists here in 2024. What's it like having a roommate that's 51 years older than you? Apparently pretty awesome. At least according to one TikTok content creator in Australia. Her name is Ella. She is 22. She recently moved in with a 73-year-old man named David Cox back last month. And so far, they've been getting along great. In fact, in her words, they've been getting along like a house on fire, whatever that means. But to me, I imagine having a much older roommate. It could be great. If you're super introverted, they're probably not doing a whole heck of a lot either. And so y'all don't get too much in each other's space. But that's not what these two are like. Apparently, they spend a lot, at least for this first month they've been living together, spend a lot of time together. They exercise together. Go cook together, eat ice cream together, like they just hang out. This 73-year-old man, 22-year-old gal, he says that she reminds him of his oldest daughter. So it's just been a real good relationship. Believe it or not, I have some experience with this. When I was in college, I had 2 roommates. One was around my age. The other was an older woman who probably was about 51 years older than the two of us. She owned the house. We rented from her. Super easy to get along with. It is, if you want a roommate that isn't going to throw rowdy parties, have a bunch of people over, stay up too late, making all kinds of racket, then obviously you can't go wrong with somebody 51 years older than you. And if they are 51 years older than you and doing all of that, then they may quite possibly be either the coolest or most inconsiderate 70-year-old of all time. But I can say I recommend it. You definitely won't be bothered by having a much older roommate. It's Fired or Hired on the Hudson Show. Whenever you run into workplace issues you need some help with, let us know. 8772-RadioU, and we'll do our best. And I mean me, and the RadioU family, we'll do our best to help you out. You can chime in with your help on this one at 8772-RadioU, where we have a guy who says, been working at a marketing company for 3 years, and during that time, I've always given my best effort. Thank you for pointing that out. A few months ago, my boss assigned me new responsibilities, including supervising a small team and managing additional projects. At first, I thought it was a great opportunity to prove myself, but after a while, I realized I was doing much more work without any extra compensation or formal recognition. I finally asked for a meeting with my boss to discuss the issue. Good for you. I explained that while I appreciate the trust, I think it's unfair that my workload has increased without a pay raise or an official promotion. His response was that I should be grateful that I have a stable job and that these extra tasks are an opportunity, in quotes, to prove I can handle more responsibility. This made me feel guilty, but I still think it's unfair to do more work without anything extra in return. What should I do? This is tough. A lot of us have been here for this one. 8772-RadioU. Chime in with your thoughts on this Fired or Hired situation. How can we help our guy out? Some good responses coming in. Philip says, this is an easy one. If they don't appreciate you, find someone who will. it's time to dip out. I hope that it's that easy. I do. Jamie says, this is funny because I'm actually dealing with a similar situation right now. The difference is I got the promotion. Well, congratulations. But I'm also doing the work of 4 people by myself. The only advice I can offer is keep advocating for yourself. And if nothing happens, it's time to find a new job who will appreciate you more. Robert says, stick it out for the experience. Pad your resume. Maybe a better opportunity arises. I think that's Robert kind of takes a little bit of a sober mind, because like right now you could get emotional, because honestly, I'm kind of getting emotional reading this, being like, yeah, you should get paid more. I mean, you should. You've taken on more work. They should do that it sounds like you weren't asked to do more work. You were told to do more work that wasn't initially in your job description. And now they're just going to keep paying you the same. It's not really fair that it works that way. And if it was reversed, right? If you just started doing less work, they would be like, well, you're either fired or you're getting paid less. So it's not exactly fair, but it's not so simple as, well, I guess you just walk in there and say, either you give me a raise or I quit. That could really hurt you as well. I think the best path forward is be prepared to have this conversation again. Start putting your resume out there. Have something as a backup plan. It's no guarantee that if you start over at a new job that you're going to get paid anymore, but at least you may be treated a little more fairly than you are at this job. Emma says, you have every right to ask for fair compensation if they don't value your added responsibilities. That's a red flag. And Josh, he's coming in hot. Classic move by the boss, offering opportunity as a cover for free labor. It's time to push harder or reconsider your options. And then finally, we had Leo, who says, this is so perfect. Tell your boss that paying you for these extra responsibilities is an opportunity for them to show you that you are valued and respected. They should be grateful for having a stable employee that can be relied on to get the job done. A good way to show how grateful they are is a raise. Man, Josh, can we write that down? No, Josh, that was Leo. Can we write that down and just give this to our guy, walk into the boss's office and state that and see what happens? You still might not get anything, but at least you know where you stand and you can start searching elsewhere. A Little Debbie conspiracy theory has just been uncovered. A woman on TikTok who has a Southern accent, because of course she does, has discovered that she claims Little Debbie is lying when it says big pack. What does that mean? Well, she shows how she bought a big pack of Little Debbie honey buns for $4.99. She takes the honey bun out of the package, pulls it out right next to a honey bun from the regular size box of Little Debbie's, and compares the size of the honey buns, and they seem to be the same size. Now, some are saying, well, big pack doesn't mean the honey buns are bigger. It means you get more, which is true. The big box is 9 honey buns. The small box is 6. But if that is the case and that's all that means, well, she's getting ripped off, and we all are, because the big pack is $4.99, almost twice the price of the smaller pack, which contains 6. You're not getting twice as much Little Debbie honey buns in a big pack for almost twice the price. So, Little Debbie has got some explaining to do. If I can't trust Little Debbie, I mean, who can I trust? Lots of good responses coming in the group chat here at 8772 RadioU. Philip says maybe she should try weighing it. It's possible the big ones the ones in the big pack are denser, even if they're not physically bigger. That's an interesting take. I mean, it can't hurt. We've got to get to the bottom of this, Philip, and that can't hurt. But it should say, right? I didn't see it in the clip. I didn't watch that intently. But I mean, Little Debbie boxes are supposed to have the weight of how much is in there on the box. So that could also be an effective way to go about it. Nicole says, I don't know about the honey buns, but the fudge rounds and oatmeal cream pies are definitely bigger. That's what I think, at least, Nicole. That's what I think. That's what I imagine in my mind. And sometimes we oftentimes have oatmeal cream pies here at the RadioU studios. And sometimes they look very tiny, and sometimes they look like what I think is a regular size cream pie. But I think that's because those are the big ones, and the smaller ones are the regular size. But over the years, are we sure that the big ones haven't just become regular size and the smaller ones have gotten tinier? I'm not sure, but I just really want answers here. I thought I could trust Little Debbie, and it seems that it's not, because the best case scenario, right, is that they're overcharging you for the big pack. And the worst case scenario is that Little Debbie's, I should say, is just straight up lying. Little Debbie, we had a good relationship. We had a lot of trust. We spent a lot of time together. And now you just think you can pull the wool over my eyes and give me and others these Little Debbie honey buns that are not the big size. We got a dilemma here, looking for your help with it. You can get in the Hudson Show group chat.
877-2-RADIO-U.
My birthday is Monday, and for the past several days, in fact, going back 1 month, I've been receiving some birthday presents in the mail. Everything from cards that I'm sure have checks in them because they're from older relatives to like actual presents through Amazon and stuff. I feel like I should wait until my actual birthday on Monday to open these, but some have been trying to convince me that you don't have to wait. You're a grown up now. You can open the presents whenever you want. It's not like you're having a big party that they're going to be at. These people that gave you these gifts, they sent them in the mail. They don't need to see you open them or whatever. They don't even know in some cases. I say, yes, I do. They will know if I like deposit the check before my actual birthday. So should I wait? Do you wait to open presents you get in the mail before your birthday? Susanna says if it's in the mail, you have to wait. No explanation. Just you have to. That's how I feel. She also says her birthday is Wednesday. Happy birthday. Wait to open your presents, I guess. We did hear from Jules, who says, I think you should wait. There's something fun about holding on to a tradition, even if you're grown. That's what I don't know about tradition, but sure. Chris says, why wait? Being an adult means setting your own rules, and that includes when you open your presents. But what if I want to set my own rules, and that means not opening my present? I like the anticipation, and I like getting a bunch of stuff in one day. Kyle says, you're an adult now. Just rip them open when you get them. Life's too short for waiting. Okay. And Regina says, I didn't know you were supposed to wait as an adult. You're not supposed to. I just think I kind of think it's the right thing to do. But she says usually she always gets her gifts in person because she still has family that lives nearby. So there'll be some kind of get together. Okay. Yeah. But I'm talking when you get the stuff, and obviously if people don't give you presents until your actual birthday or after your birthday, if there's a gathering, or if it's before your birthday, like if I had a birthday thing on Saturday, of course I'd open the presents then. But otherwise, I think I gotta wait till my actual birthday. I just think that's the right thing to do. And I don't know. I don't think birthday presents should be making me feel guilty. If I open it early, then I'm going to feel guilty. That's not what they're meant to do, right? I'm usually pretty good at not letting social media make me feel bad about myself. It's the Hudson Show on RadioU. But today, y'all are killing me. Seeing all these posts going out of pictures, people seeing the Northern Lights. And I've seen the Northern Lights before. And I know that, they're cool. But it's not like, oh, it changed my life. I would love to see them again. At least that's what I thought until I saw all these pictures of people that aren't far from me posting out Northern Lights pictures, and they look stunning. And I'm walking outside seeing absolutely nothing. And it's making me feel a little bad. It's making me feel some FOMO right now. Actually, it's not even FOMO. I'm just Mo. Bet you didn't have this on your 2024 bingo card. 877-2-RADIO-U. It's the Hudson Show. Crocs for dogs. Yes, it is a real thing that, yes, if you're a psycho, you could buy starting on October 23rd, which, by the way, if you didn't know, that's National Crocs Day. At Crocs.com, they are actually selling Crocs for dogs, complete with gibbets if you so choose, and everything, which is great if you want your dog to be super comfy, or if you want people to stop coming up to you asking to pet your dog. Nothing says stay away like you and your dog wearing matching ugly shoes. You know how people say, trick or treat, smell my feet, or whatever? Airheads is supposedly trying to actually make that a thing. Sparkle, who comes on after me here on RadioU, just told me about this yesterday. She said that Airheads is now literally selling a foot spray. You're supposed to spray on your feet. It makes them smell like cherry Airheads. I'm just like, no, thank you. I already have enough people asking to lick my feet as it is. I don't think this would help the situation. All right, gang. Which college football game are we looking forward to the most this weekend? It should be an amazing slate of games. I'll tell you my prediction, and that is that we will have less ranked teams lose this week than last week, which may not seem like it's saying much because we had so many, like a historical amount lose last week. But that said, we also have 3 ranked versus ranked matchups. But even with that said, I think what we are going to see this weekend is not only the big favorites come out and win, avoid upsets, but they are going to smoke the opponents. Why? Because of all those upsets last week, particularly Alabama versus Vanderbilt, all those ranked teams now, their coach can come to their team and just be like, hey, you got to work your butt off because anybody can beat anybody. And all those teams that might be big favorites and might not be focused in a normal week, this week, they're going to be focused. They're going to be dialed in because they know that their coach has been drilling them all week. And many of the ranked teams like Alabama are bouncing back from losing last week. And so they're in a big revenge spot trying to get the win. So I don't think we see any big upsets this weekend. Of course, we've got the big games, Ole Miss against LSU, Texas, Oklahoma, the Red River Shootout. I'll still call it that. I don't care. And, of course, Ohio State versus Oregon. What's your prediction for that one? For me, I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I think we're all going to really enjoy watching it. And that's what really matters. Get your popcorn ready. It's our weekend tradition here on the Hudson Show. The weekend watch list, letting you know what's new that you could be watching when it comes to movies. We'll lead things off with Piece by Piece. Lego bricks tell the life story of singer-songwriter and record producer Pharrell Williams from his childhood in Virginia to his success in the music and fashion industry. Yes, it is a Lego movie. It's supposed to be for the whole family, but it's like a biopic about Pharrell Williams. I saw the trailer for this in theaters ahead of something else I watched, and I thought this movie looks absolutely lame. Like, if it wasn't Lego pieces, nobody would watch this. But I may be wrong because the critics have given it an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. Kyle Smith of the Wall Street Journal says, in a season of unconventional musicals, Piece by Piece is the most infectious one. A party for the eyes and ears. It's too bad the seats in the movie theaters may constrain people from getting up and dancing. This is absolutely crazy. Based off of that trailer that I saw, I do not know how that movie could be good enough to justify that review. But nevertheless, the critics seem to agree. 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, Piece by Piece. Otherwise, if you want something a little more grown up, Saturday night. Tensions run high as producer Lorne Michaels and a ferocious troupe of young comedians and writers prepare for the first broadcast of Saturday Night Live on October 11th, 1975. This one also receiving very good reviews. To be clear, it is not a documentary. It is a, movie. It has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Peter Reiner of the Christian Science Monitor says, at its best, the film demonstrates a showbiz truism. It takes a lot of hard work to make something look easy. So a couple of supposedly, at least according to the critics, good options this weekend in theaters. We don't need to spend a lot of time with this, but if you're a lunatic, you go see Terrifier 3. That is a new Christmas horror movie. The follow-up with Art the Clown. The first two supposedly made people throw up and walk out of theaters and whatever. So for some reason, they made a third one. I think because the budget's only $2 million and it will definitely make more than that. What are you going to be watching this weekend? If you do get to anything good or bad, let me know at 8772 RadioU. I'll tell you, for me, when we return back to the Hudson Show on Monday, I'll have a few more spooky movies to review, at least one or two, but they're not going to be Terrifier 3, though. I mean, not that kind of spooky. That's your weekend watch list. We'll catch you at the movies. One thing I've been thinking a lot about lately, and probably learning about too, is not viewing people as just one thing. I'll give you an example. Many people will stop listening to music by an artist, stop watching movies or shows by an artist, stop watching an athlete or cheering against them because of one thing they did. Now, listen, I'm not saying that's wrong, but what I am saying is it's harmful when we view people that way. Another example, Pete Rose. He just recently passed away. He was the hit king in baseball, but also he got caught and banned from baseball for gambling on his own team. And that, for many people, became all he was known for. A negative thing for sure, but there was many other things about Pete Rose, and a lot of people only saw him as the gambling guy. And here's why I think that's harmful, why I think it's negative, because I don't think that's how God sees us. Jesus doesn't see us as one big mistake, our worst choice that we've made. Jesus sees the whole picture. And yes, sometimes the whole picture isn't exactly very likable. We do make bad choices. We do things that aren't wise and that wind up coming back to bite us and change how people see us. But when you look at the whole picture, when God looks at the whole picture, he still sees something lovable that he wants to be a part of. And so I really believe that's how we need to start thinking about other people as well, not just seeing them for their worst mistake. If that's something that sounds good to you and you want to know how God sees you, well, start talking to him about it. Say, hey, Jesus, I want to know more about how you see me and how I can view other people the way you do. If you want to know more, RadioU.com/free gift. Earlier this week, the largest fry manufacturer for McDonald's, a company called Lamb Weston, shut down one of their plants, seemingly unexpectedly laid off a bunch of their workers as well, unfortunately. And they're blaming us as Americans. They say that there's a significantly reduced demand for French fries now, which may seem at first hard to believe, possibly disappointing, but I think it makes sense. Not only has inflation been running rampant, it's probably put a little dent in our fast food budget for fries. I think also that Americans are waking up. We're opening our eyes. We're realizing that there are many other alternatives to French fries that just, first of all, can add variety, and second of all, can sometimes possibly be superior. I mean, think about it. You can now go to many fast food restaurants and get cheese curds instead of fries. And the best cheese curd, I'm sorry, is better than the best French fry. Or think about this. You could go to many fast food restaurants, get onion rings instead. I like to do that sometimes because onion rings, again, oftentimes can be superior to French fries. And unlike French fries, when I eat onion rings, I can convince myself I'm eating a vegetable, when deep down, I know they're a fruit. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.